welcome to Drones for Good with me, Claire Strong. This is the show where we delve deeper into the world of drones, remote sensing, and business cases. My guest today is Bill Emerson. He's the Events and Communications Manager at Phase One. Bill, thank you so much for joining me today.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. So, Bill, first things first, tell me a little bit about Phase One.
Well, Phase One is a very high-tech company. We're based out of Denmark, Copenhagen, Denmark. We've been in business since 1993, and we manufacture and produce medium format cameras, so for commercial purposes. So very high-end photography capabilities, but that's basically our business in a nutshell, is cameras.
Okay, cameras. So tell me a little bit more, because we're not talking about everyday cameras here, are we? What are they used for?
That's right. And so most people, use their phones for their cameras. About 95% of people use their phones for cameras now. And then for others that are doing more advanced work, they would typically use a DSLR camera, which is typically you'd see, at the side of a sporting event or something like that. Our cameras are a little different in that we specialize in what we call a medium format camera, which is a much larger image frame than most commercial cameras and consumer cameras on the market. So our real value proposition is we take a very large image. We have very high resolution. So that's really our niche in terms of medium format. And we support a number of different industries. I'm in the geospatial side, so we do a lot of mapping work. We're also involved with an area we call bespoke photography, which deals with high-end fashion shooting, commercial shoots for products, and advertising shoots maybe for cars and high-end appliances, that kind of stuff. And then finally, we have our cultural heritage division, and they handle digitization of old documents. It could be for galleries, libraries, archives, and museums. So we cover quite a bit of commercial photography, and we're really proud to do that. We're excited about where we're at.
Wow, yeah, it certainly sounds like an exciting company and really varied too. Can you talk to me a little bit more about some of the case studies and some of the actual, as I said, case studies that you guys are working with, particularly in the fashion industry? That's quite an interesting one.
Yeah, we are a well-named brand in the fashion world. In many cases, the high-end photography studios, professional photographers that have their own studios will use our cameras as their quote unquote their studio cameras, or as a portrait camera. So typically they're again medium format. The resolution is about 150 megapixels. I'm sorry. So it's a very large image and very high resolution. So for those types of very glamorous entertainment and fashion shots, those folks really need the best of the best in terms of getting the highest resolution, then being able to put it into our Capture One software, and then do the final production of the photos and images. So from the cameras all the way through the workflow on the back end, we've got a really nice ecosystem for the professional folks. If you look at our YouTube channel, we have a number of different interviews. We did a fashion shoot last year or the year before with Jennifer Lawrence, famous actress. And then this year, we're actually planning to send a professional photographer to Ethiopia to do some work this summer, to do capture some imagery for us in Ethiopia. So we're really excited about everything that's happening right now.
Tell me a little bit about the company. Let's go back to where it all began and where you are today.
Right. So again, it started back in 1993 in Denmark. We're based in Copenhagen. And our first offering was really a digital back, which was a better way for, in many cases, for airborne mapping companies, like the company I used to work for, where we're flying planes and helicopters and now drones to collect imagery of, it could be of a specific property, or it could be a township or a city, or even an entire state. So our cameras have been used in the mapping world since about 2006, 2007. And again, those were typically married with other types of sensors, most popularly LIDAR or laser scanning. So the idea is by marrying two sensors together, the laser scanner and the camera, then we could cover a bigger area more quickly and more efficiently. And that's kind of the goal, is do a single pass over the subject matter and then land the plane and then come down and process the data. So our goal is really to help our mapping clients, those commercial mappers, be more efficient in what they do.
So Bill, talk to me a little bit more about the mapping side of things and how drones come into play for your business.
Well, the mapping side of our business is quite strong right now. There's a pretty amazing demand worldwide for all types of imagery and all types of data involving, or what we call geospatial data, or data related to a specific location. Again, it could vary from an entire state, like in the US, or it could be a watershed, some type of a water collection area where we're trying to map where the water goes. Or it could be used for city county mapping purposes to understand, for cities and counties to understand where their population is and how they're moving about and how they're changing the landscapes, whether they're adding more buildings or building more fences or adding more trees. So the mapping side has become very, very strong. With the advent in the last roughly 5 years of commercial drones, we're seeing much more interest in what we call vertical mapping opportunities, those looking at wind turbines, cell towers, anything that's tall and difficult to access. Could be on the oil and gas side of what we call flare stacks. So the drones are really, first and foremost, they're most amazing in their ability to for safety. Instead of having two people in a plane or a helicopter, we now can have a drone put up and take all the pictures we want. And the worst thing that can possibly happen is the drone gets destroyed. In the case of manned aircraft or crewed aircraft, there's a lot more at stake. So drones have become very popular for the 3Ds, dull, dirty, and dangerous jobs, things that we don't want to put humans or we would not like to put humans in the loop, whether that might be inspecting a flare stack, or it could be inspecting the inside of a nuclear cooling tower. Again, these are dangerous situations and environments, and anywhere we can save lives or reduce the possibility of injury, it just makes perfect sense. In addition, we're also able to get images and data that we were never able to see before. So the underside of a bridge, for example, or the glazing around the windows at the 35th story of a building that's just been constructed. These things present construction, especially in the AEC world, architecture, engineering, and construction. These very mundane day-to-day operational tasks can really be created to be more efficient through the use of drones and that technology. So again, our solutions for our cameras allow our customers to take fewer pictures at a farther distance and maintain the same resolution. So by operating at a further distance, we're operating more safely and hopefully operating outside hopefully nobody's operating underneath us. So again, it's all about safety, and it's about getting access, putting our eyeballs, or letting our customers put their eyeballs on issues and challenges that they see in their day-to-day business. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. I mean, Bill, just how revolutionary have drones become in your industry? How have drones kind of, really moved your industry forward and impacted your industry?
Well, I am excited. Certainly, I've been excited about drones for the last probably 5 years. I'm a drone pilot myself, so I love to get out and fly my drone. Where I see going forward, where I see the growth of drones is really in if you talk about robotics in general. I think of drone as an airborne robot. We're also building, and there's a lot of development on ground-based robots those that could work in a warehouse or work in a production facility or work as a delivery tool, as well as submersibles. If you just saw the news about they just found Shackleton's Endurance up in the Antarctic, I think it was. That has been undiscovered for over 100 years. And by putting a submersible into the Arctic, I think it was Antarctica, they're able to find and locate that. So when we talk about robotics and the need for vision and imaging coming from those robots, I think about not just airborne stuff, but also those robots that are on the ground and those that are in the sea or in the water. So, the growth potential for this market is just absolutely staggering. And that's what's exciting. There's also a large growth in the space market. So if you've been following SpaceX, you can follow them and watch their launches. And a typical launch for them, they're launching somewhere on the order of 30 to 40 satellites per launch. So our ability to see things from an airborne perspective, not only from a drone, from an airplane, now from space, is better than it's ever been. And we have more, quote unquote, eyeballs on our planet and on our world than ever before. And that's only going to go up. So I'm quite bullish about the future of drones and robotics.
Yeah, exciting times ahead. So what does the future hold for phase one? What have you got in the pipeline that you may be able to share with us today?
Wow, we've got a lot of really exciting things working. We've been doing a lot of work on the inspection side with our drones and doing work with, as I mentioned before, wind turbines, solar collection farms. Again, anything that's vertical. So there's some really interesting things there. One thing that I'm particularly excited about on the wind turbine side is obviously those blades of these turbines need to be inspected quite regularly, because not only are they moving very, very rapidly, even though they look slow to the human eye, they're moving at about 90 miles an hour at their blade tips. So they're moving very, very fast. And if there's anything in the air or gets thrown into the air that hits those things, they can cause quite a bit of damage. So one of the things we're trying to do is capture images of the wind turbine blades while they're moving. So this is huge, right? Because right now, if a company comes out and inspects, they have to stop the turbine, which takes a tremendous amount of energy to stop it. And then once it's stopped, they have to bring out their crew and then inspect it. And then once the inspection's done, then they have to use a tremendous amount of energy to restart that turbine. So our goal is to see if we can image these blades without stopping the turbine. And I think that could be a game changer in that industry itself, just alone. That's just one example I think is a really good one.
So Bill, can you tell us about any upcoming events that phase one will be attending?
Absolutely. Yeah. We have a couple shows coming up, two coming up in the last week of April. The first one is called AUVSI Exponential. It's the largest drone show conference and expo in the North American markets, Canada and the US. That'll be in Orlando, Florida, and we'll be exhibiting there in booth 934. The other one that very same week in Denver is called the GeoInt Symposium, and that is focused on the defense and intelligence market. So very much focused on government, military, anybody that's involved with ISR activities, which stands for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. So people using our cameras to monitor or patrol areas. And then the third show we're working on is the Commercial UAV Expo. It's in Las Vegas in September 6th through the 8th. And we'll be exhibiting there in booth 506. And we'll be showing off our P3 camera. We'll have a P3 demo stand there. And we're working on a few other little promotions to try to drive people to our booths. But those are our upcoming shows where we show off our equipment and people can come by and ask questions and hopefully take a look at some of the data we've collected. So
Bill, you mentioned the P3 camera there. Tell us a little bit more about what that is and what it does.
So the P3 camera is our solution for drones. One of our solutions, our main solution for drones. It's very much focused on the inspection market. So getting very high resolution images of different types of facilities or structures. It could range from a cell tower a wireless cell tower where they need to inspect the cabling, to a wind turbine where they need to inspect the blades for damage or areas they may need to fix, or any other types of construction project. It could be a very tall skyscraper where they're inspecting the glazing on the windows on the outside. So a lot of different usage for these. This P3 is especially built to support the DJI, Auterion, and Mavlink drone platforms. So it's a really easy plug and play. You can literally just plug it in. It takes about 2 seconds. So as quickly as you can get a drone up and working, which usually takes 5 to 10 minutes, you can attach a camera in about a minute, and then you're off and flying. So really focused on that inspection market for the drones. It comes in 2 different resolutions. Our biggest is the 100 megapixel resolution. And then we also offer a 50 megapixel resolution for that camera, but really built for drones and for light, smaller aircraft. It could be a quadcopter. It could be a fixed wing drone, but anything that's any type of drone we can integrate onto and have our customers flying in pretty short order.
Wow. So if we need to find out anything else about phase 1, how do we do that? And how do we contact you guys?
Well, certainly go to our website, phase1.com. Has information about all 3 of our business verticals. Like I said, the geospatial, bespoke photography, and our cultural heritage products. You can also visit us on LinkedIn. If you go to the company page under phase 1, you'll find a lot of information about us and where we're going to be. Our event calendar is published out there. And so anything you want to know about us, you can find out there. And certainly if you're really interested, you can call us up and set up a meeting. We'd be glad to talk more about our products there.
Well, Bill, thank you so much for joining me today on Drones for Good. It's been an absolute pleasure. Best of luck with all the expos, and we'll definitely get you back on the show again soon.
Well, thanks for having me, Claire. It's been a fun time, and I'd be glad to join you anytime you'd have me.
Thank you, Bill. All the best.
Thank you. Bye-bye.